Welcome back. Well, stocks are lower this morning. Let's check crypto right now. Lower as well. Bitcoin now at 63,226. Washington is entering a critical phase in the debate over regulating digital assets. Lawmakers preparing to take up the Clarity Act as soon as next week, something Senate Digital Assets Subcommittee Chairman Cynthia Lummis told me earlier this week. The House Financial Services Committee holding a hearing in New York today, meanwhile, to educate lawmakers on the bill's next steps in the Senate, where it faces political hurdles. We are talking about it right now. Coinbase's chief policy officer joined me, Faryar Shirzad, on the program this week, arguing that the legislation would be a major step forward for consumer protection and market integrity. Watch.
Look, I think the bill is a dramatic advance in consumer protection and market integrity. If this bill passes, even in the form that came out of the House, the advances it'll provide in terms of having a comprehensive federal regulatory framework that gives people confidence that these markets are operating clearly and with integrity, and you don't have manipulation or front-running or any of those things will be addressed. Now, I know there's an effort in the Senate by a number of Democrats to add ethics provisions. That's something we in the industry really can't speak to. It's an amendment to the government ethics rules, which is really something policymakers need to figure out. And so we'll see what happens on that side of it. But even without an ethics provision, the bill is a dramatic step forward for the priorities that Democrats have laid out. And so I hope everybody keeps their focus on that reality.
Joining me now is the president of the Solana Policy Institute and chair of the Blockchain Association Board, Kristin Smith, back with me. Kristin, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. What are your thoughts on clarity and the ethics conversation underway right now?
Well, good morning, Maria, and thank you for having me back. I agree with Faryar. The ethics conversation is absolutely essential. This is one of those tricky issues where it's really not the crypto industry's place to decide what that deal is. But I've met with members of Congress, senators on both sides of the aisle, and especially for Democrats, they need to have some sort of ethics language in this bill in order to be able to vote for it. So I give credit to President Trump for entertaining this concept. I know he had a meeting at the White House yesterday to discuss what this provision could look like. And I think, this is a president who knows the art of the deal. If we can get the president and the Democrats to agree on this issue, I think that will break the logjam, and we will be able to get the votes needed to get this bill through the Senate sometime next week or the following.
Yeah, I mean, the president hosting senators for the discussion on the Clarity Act, and these conflict of interest provisions are critical here, and they need to be acceptable to President Trump. The problem is the Senate Democrats want to put in ethics rules that would ensure that the president and his family and people attached to him can't benefit from any crypto business. I mean, if that's the case, the president's just going to veto it.
Right. We need to have something that is workable for the president. And you have to remember the beauty of the way that they're doing this is the rules apply not just to the president, but also to the Congress. And so this is something that everyone, regardless of who's in power, are going to have to live by. And so it's important they get them done right. I think it is an important issue, though, for the Democrats, and one that we do need to see addressed. But I do think they can get there. I mean, we have come so far with this legislation. Since the House passed the Clarity Act a year ago, there have been a lot of negotiations with Democrats. There have been new disclosure provisions added. There's a whole new section on illicit finance. They've beefed up the way that they're going to regulate the spot exchanges. So there has been a lot of bipartisan input into this bill, and it is the best, most comprehensive language we have seen. And I think once we get this passed, we are going to see an unleashing of economic activity around the crypto space. We're going to see an upgrade to our financial services system. We're going to see more traditional institutions adopt crypto technology and integrate it into their services. We're going to see costs come down, and we're going to see transaction speeds go up. And so I think this is a real opportunity. I think this is a legacy-making moment for the president, and I think this is something that both sides of the aisle really do want to get done, and that we can get done before the August recess.
I mean, we'll see if we see limited conflict provisions that the president can accept. I would expect this to move forward, but if it's just push to stop the president and his family from engaging in any of these endeavors, I gotta believe the president vetoes it, and it's unlikely to pass. I don't know. I understand why we need to see this pass. We need, guardrails in place for the crypto industry, but the outcome would be negative if the Democrats push and force some elements in there that would mean Trump cannot engage and his family cannot engage in any crypto business. I'm just looking at this realistically.
Yeah, no, listen, I think what's on the table are the most stringent ethics regulations we've seen to date. It's very rare to have them apply to a specific sector. But I think that there is some common ground. I think there is a middle path, and I'm very optimistic that in the next few days that we will reach that agreement.
The push for crypto regulation coming nearly a year after the Genius Act passed. I mean, it's been a year. It created a federal framework for stable coins, and everyone was very positive with that, which Senator Haggerty worked on so much. These new rules could impact competition between traditional banks and crypto companies. Where are you on that, Kristin? Because I spoke with the CEO of Coinbase, Brian Armstrong, about it back in May. Here's what he said.
This stablecoin reward issue is very important, and I think President Trump has showed incredible leadership here, creating a strong crypto agenda. We just got the Genius Act passed into law, which actually did enable stablecoin rewards to happen. The banks had their own concerns, and we reached a good outcome in the Genius Act. And now the banks really are coming and trying to undermine the president's crypto agenda. They're trying to protect their own profit margins, taking money out of the pockets of hardworking average Americans and putting it into the coffers of these big banks that are hitting record profits. And so our view is that there should be a level playing field where banks and crypto companies can lean into stablecoin legislation as an opportunity, and that includes paying rewards to Americans so that they can earn more money on their money.
Kristin, I heard that Jamie Dimon reluctantly agreed. I heard now that Jamie Dimon is reluctantly agreeing to these rewards language. But, that was another issue, that the crypto companies would be able to pay rewards for stablecoins on their platforms. And the banks saw it as, well, you're looking like a bank and you're acting like a bank, but you don't have the same regulation as a bank.
Well, first of all, stablecoins are very different than banks. We talked a little bit about this last time, Maria, but banks do fractional reserve banking, and so they need FDI insurance, they need FDIC insurance, different types of regulations. Stablecoins have their own regulatory framework. They are 100% backed by U.S. Treasuries and dollars, and so they're one-to-one. They're not fractional reserve. So it is a totally different system. That being said, listen, the banks, they put up a good fight. There were over 3 months of negotiations with Senators Tillis and also Brooks. To come up with a fix to this. And to quote Patrick Witt, who is the White House crypto advisor, asked and answered. They came, there was discussion, the language is in. This is a closed issue. We don't need to reopen it at this time. And by the way, if you look at the banks, if you look at the JP Morgan's numbers from earlier this week, I think they're doing okay. They have record profits. This is not something that has put a dent in their business whatsoever. And so I think we need to really move on from this issue and focus on putting in a regulatory framework that protects the 67 million Americans who use and own crypto every day. And that's why we need to get this Clarity Act done.
Yeah, I think most people agree with that. Kristin, great to see you. We'll keep following it.
Great to see you,
Solana Policy Institute President, Blockchain Association Board Chair, Kristin Smith. Stay with us. We'll be right back with the U.S. Chief of Protocol. Ambassador Monica Crowley is going to give us a heads up on the big finals on Sunday for the World Cup. Stay with us.